Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dialogue can make or break a movie, but sometimes there will be a line of dialogue that transcends the movie itself. From Arnie to Gable, Forrest to Lemon, classic movie quotes vary from hilarious to ominous, but always memorable. Here's Neil, who frankly doesn't give a damn, with 10 movie quote facts.
Thank you very much, Pav. So what I thought we'd do this week is have a look into movie quotes themselves. And the American Film Institute ran a poll to find the greatest movie quotes of all time. So at number 10, they had, "You talking to me? Taxi driver."
Drink your milkshake.
At number 9, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night." All About Eve from 1950.
There's no crying in baseball.
At number 8, "May the Force be with you," from Star Wars.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Number 7, "All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up." Sunset Boulevard, 1950.
Wax on, wax off.
Number 6, "Go ahead, make my day," from Sudden Impact, 1983.
Go ahead, make my day.
Spooky.
Number 5, "Here's looking at you, kid." Casablanca, 1942.
Say hello to my little friend.
At number 4, "Toto, I've got a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore," from The Wizard of Oz, 1939.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And number 3, "You don't understand. I had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum, which is what I am." On the Waterfront, 1954.
I thought Marlon Brando was here for a second
what I
then.
thought.
I really did.
I am your father.
Should we try it again, Marlon Brando? "I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse." The Godfather.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
And that is number 1. "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn," from Gone with the Wind, 1939.
I'll be back.
Oh, thank you. I can't believe that. I think that's the second week we've done that where I've played the thing that you've spoken about.
We're in
That's
sync.
freaky. Freaky, freaky, freaky. Talking of freaky. Ladies and gentlemen, our guests for tonight. That's freaky in a good way.
Yeah, I was going to say. Hopefully.
It's freaky in a good way. It's Alice from Just Films and That. Hello, Alice.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on again. That was brilliant. That I forgot about that little bit at the beginning. That was brilliant. That was so good.
I tell you, I feel like we're sort of like the Force. It runs strong
definitely.
in our family where it was like that. But, Dirty Harry and all that stuff. And I love your Marlon Brando impersonation, Neil. That was fantastic.
That was one of his London years.
Was it? So we're doing movie quotes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Alice, hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, very well. So excited to be here again. I love it.
Good. I feel like this one is either going to get loads of duplicates or going to get none at all. Because I found doing my top 10 that I didn't want to do the usual ones that everybody. I was trying to find ones that mean something to me rather than ones that.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt as well?
Yeah, so I did exactly the same. So a lot of mine, because I kind of went through some of it with my husband, and he was like, "That's not a quote. That's just a bit from the film that you like." And I was like, "But I've got to pick stuff that I've got an emotional connection to. I can't just pick things because they're popular or because they're familiar or whatever." So I've picked a lot of stuff that just when I hear it makes me feel something, whether it's makes me feel, I don't know, just like heightened emotions and scared, or whether it's hilarious, or whether it's just like, oh my God, I'm feeling it in the bottom of my stomach sort of thing. So that's what I've gone for. I think most of them you will recognize. Some of them you'll just be like, Alice, what the fuck? So I apologize in advance. I reckon I've got at least one duplicate in there though. There's one I've picked that's pretty popular.
You know what? I've got the same. I think I've got at least maybe two that Neil may have.
Mhm.
Wow.
I feel. So how did you find compiling your top 10, Neil?
Well, I purposely didn't look at any facts or anything about movie quotes. I just wrote 10 that came to mind straight away.
Mhm.
And that's how I thought I'd do it, because they're obviously one that are ingrained into my subconscious. And then looked at the facts and realized that some of them were popular ones, which obviously I would have known anyway. But yeah, hopefully I've got some little curveballs in there, but some popular ones. I've got a feeling I know which one we might duplicate on.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Okay.
one from Debbie Does Dallas.
I do think now, just to say that I think that when we say what our entry is, we have to try and act it like it is in the movie.
Oh, 100%. I'm so ready for that.
We
so
have
ready
to
for
do
that.
that. I think it's just one of those things. And I think even if we've got a duplicate, we both have to do it, or we all have to do it in that way. So Neil, I know you've already shot your wad on your Marlon Brando impersonation.
Well, I've got no more Marlon Brando.
So I'm really looking forward to your Al Pacino and your Charlton Heston if they happen to be in your top 10.
That'll do.
That will do. That will do. Okay, so without further ado, Alice, give us your number 10 movie quote.
Okay, number 10. Take car, go to mum's, kill Phil, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. How's that for a slice of fried gold?
Nice.
Nice.
I think that was one of the first ones that came to mind as well. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta pay that. It's funny, it's iconic. That film, the whole trilogy of those films, just brilliant.
I nearly put one from that. Well, I'll say it's Shaun of the Dead in case anybody's listening to it and just suddenly went, "What the hell's that from?"
Oh yeah, sorry, should have said that. Simon Pegg says it is Shaun of the Dead.
One of them is I nearly put on my list because it's something I do say, but I won't repeat it. And I thought, no, I'll wipe it out. It's pretty much Nick Frost's opening line in the pub.
Which one's that?
So, do you mind if I drop the C-bomb?
I don't mind.
All right. No. Can I buy any of you cunts a drink?
Yeah, nice.
Right. Yeah.
That's how you enter a room, mate. But the other one, I think the thing that got me to thinking about Shaun of the Dead as well is because for some of these, I was trying to think, are there any that I actually use in everyday life and things that I actually say? And all the time I say, "You've got red on you." I always say that if there's red on, you've got red on you, like whatever it might be. If there's red, I don't know why it's just lodged in there.
Don't you find that with a lot of things, whether it's TV or whether it's the thing is, whenever I try and think of one as an example, I can never think of one. But during a day, I'll say something and I'll catch myself, and it's become now part of the lexicon of my language. Is like I'll say this and go, "That's from a movie," and I've been saying that for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
You don't realize.
And do you expect other people to know straight away what you're talking about?
Especially sometimes when I think I'm being really clever.
Yeah.
And I'll say something and go. And
my name's Pav, I actually know things.
And then people are like looking at me as if, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I get that.
But that's a great one to start with, Alice. Well done. Right then, Neil, here we go.
So my number 10 is a real classic one, and they obviously had a night as we record this last night, where they've announced that the next film will be in 2 or 3 years. It's Bond, James Bond.
Oh. Now, is that Marlon Brando doing James Bond there?
No, that was Timothy Dalton when he'd had a bad throat and sucked on a lozenge. But
the names of those Bond girls, that's how the names of those Bond girls have changed. One was called Lozenge, was it?
Yeah, that's the one, you know. Fruity Lozenge. You're just
that's a great Bond girl name.
That is.
Hello.
But the reason I think of that straight away, and it's pathetic, but always when people ask me my name, I still go Neil. Like that, and
and that's it.
I'm just going to say Neil. But do you know what I mean? I do the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any specific Bond?
Well,
who delivers that? Who delivers
that
the
Dr.
best?
Dr. Knows, the original one, isn't it? When you first heard it was Sean Connery. That's the one I'm going to say.
Sorry. When you said it, Dr. Nose. It was
Dr. Nose.
It was when you said Dr. Nose, and I just thought you meant
Dr. Nose. That sequel to Dr. No.
Dr. Nose. That's how
Dr. No.
I don't know why I'm all giggling tonight.
He's got the giggles.
He's gone.
Oh God, we're only at number 10.
But yes, iconic, isn't it? We ban the I word around a lot, and it is, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
Have they all said it? Have all the actors that have played Bond said it?
Good question. I reckon so.
They must do, mustn't they?
Yeah.
They have.
And if they're not, then they're making a mistake.
Not necessarily every movie, but every Bond must have said that at one point. There's a checklist of things that Bond has to do, doesn't he? He has to.
Well, that's what I'd
have
assume. But
martini. He has to drink. Fruity lozenge. He has to suck on a fruity lozenge. He has to drive around in a fast car and kill people and say, "My name's Bond."
Basildon Bond.
That's it.
Russ Abbott. There you are. Little throwback.
God, Russ Abbott. Alice is far too young to know
who
Russ Abbott is.
Yeah, can't say it rings a bell. Sorry.
Exactly. You don't want it to either.
I just about know who James Bond is, though. So.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, that's a good one. Right, I need to have a quick change for this one. Just bear with me a sec for my number 10.
Oh.
Right. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. There you go.
Obviously,
Blues
the
Brothers.
Blues Brothers. Yes.
Oh,
but I was trying to work out what the accent was.
That was my Chicago.
Was it
Chicago?
more New
Hey,
York?
boy, it's Chicago. Hey. All of our American listeners are now slowly turning off and cancelling their Patreon subscriptions. Oh dear, that's the best I can do. But yes, it has to be that one. That's another movie. I think a lot of these movies where I've got my quotes are all from very quotable movies.
Yeah.
There's not just, I mean, I suppose every movie has at least one quotable line. I mean, 4 fried chickens and a Coke is another one.
Yeah.
That always gets me. That was very close to going into it. But
we're on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from God. Another great one. But that's the one to me that is, I think we're going to say iconic quite a lot in this. This
well, they
episode.
are, aren't they? A lot of them. So
yeah, I don't know if can you guys remember? I don't know how many years ago it was, but I think it was the PlayStation 3 or 4 had a game that you had to get a green screen and put yourself into a movie. Can you remember that? And one of the scenes, it never worked as a game. I bought it, but it was terrible. It never worked. And one of the scenes was that actual scene. So if you could sit yourself down and you had your PlayStation Eye, whatever it was, the camera, and film yourself, the way it would work was that you would then be in the scene with the Blues Brothers, basically looking at them, going like this. And it never worked because obviously the camera angles would change. You'd never get a good green screen, so it would always like bleed in with your own background. I can't remember I think it was. I'll have to look. I can't remember what the name of the thing was. Yeah,
I mean the thought's there, isn't it, of being a good game?
It's a great idea, but the technology just wasn't there.
Wow.
Anyway, Alice, your number 9, please.
Number 9. Okay, this is probably my most mainstream, probably most recognizable one. But yeah, number 9 it is. Are you not entertained?
No.
Had to do it. Again, another one that you just say. You say in everyday life when you do something stupid or you think you've done something funny or whatever. It's like, you're not entertained. But yeah, brilliant. I really like that film. It's just a great moment. It gives me like goosebumps every time. Just that moment. There's just something like so powerful and so raw about it. And I'm always like, I'm a little bit on the fence about Russell Crowe. Like, I don't always feel like super convinced by him and I don't love everything that he's in, but in that moment especially, I just think he's brilliant.
Completely agree.
I think that's him at his absolute top of his game. I think he's just fantastic in that movie.
We went through that period, didn't he, from in the early 2000s. He's just been in so many great movies.
It's from Gladiator. Sorry, I realised I keep forgetting to say what the film is. What if someone hasn't seen Gladiator?
Well, we slapped them.
Sorry, guys.
Your impersonation was perfect. Everyone would know who
nailed it. Nailed it. That's Russ. That
is. Yeah, but I think he's somebody now that is like, he's had great success. Now he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
he'll just do whatever movies he wants to do. I mean, I think he's the best thing in Thor: Love and Thunder.
I still haven't watched it yet.
Have you not watched it yet?
No,
but he's just so over the top. Let me put it that way. He's just so over the top.
Well, he can be, can't he? I mean,
he can be.
That film, The Man, was it The Man with the Iron Fist that he did? I ended up watching that, which is martial arts movie, and he was in that, and he was hamming that up.
That's right. Yeah. That's a great one. Okay, Neil, your number 9, please.
Right, so let's get tense. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's Die Hard, just in case people are like, oh, I thought that was from the Paddington movies. But yeah, and I know I've been saying it since I heard it in the movie. I know it's really cliched and people shouldn't, but I still do let the odd one come out, especially if I'm excited.
Oh, really?
But it's
I normally say, "Are you not entertained?" And then there's normally silence. So that's what
but it's a great line, and the fact that they tried to show Die Hard early before the Watershed years ago, and they put Yippee-ki-yay Melon Farmer instead, didn't they?
Really? Did that really?
Yeah, that's
happen?
what they overdubbed it with. Just makes it even better. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, and Maggot Farmer they used once, all sorts of things. It's like,
that's
Jesus.
funny.
But it's a great line, isn't it? From probably one of the best action movies ever made.
Yeah,
simple but really effective.
Yeah.
Similar with your James Bond one as well. Like they're really, they're just to the point, aren't they?
Yeah,
no mistaking.
Yeah, you know exactly what it's from.
And I think, well, I've got one a little bit later on in my top 10 where, like you said, Alice, they're succinct and to the point. And I think if a normal person wrote them, it would be like 5 or 6 lines of dialogue between two people. Whereas these writers know how to do it in like one line, or a quick line from me and a quick line from you. And you've said everything you need to say. That mere mortals would just take paragraphs and paragraphs of writing and well, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm all right. Yeah. I go, what's going on then? It hasn't just those little points, boom, succinct and iconic.
Yeah, real skill to that, to try and convey like all that meaning in such a short space of time. And I think Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker really, it does do that, because the Yippee-ki-yay is so silly and daft and like almost playful, and then the motherfucker is just kind of like, nah man, I'm fucking John McClane, you know me, bitch.
Exactly.
Sort of thing, isn't
but
it?
it links in, isn't it? If you listen to the conversation he's having with over the walkie-talkies, it is because he thinks he's a Cary Grant,
Roy Rogers, isn't it?
Roy Rogers, isn't it?
Roy Rogers, yeah.
And
and then the thing is, they even watered it down in the Die Hard movies as they went on, didn't they? I think the last in number 4 and number 5, he never actually said Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker. He got like, as he was about to say it, they cut, and it's like, why? Just let
because they made it 12s.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
it
an 18
became
movie.
It was supposed to be the John McClane version of James Bond, wasn't it? That's like his calling card.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree. Good one, Neil. Good one.
Very good.
My number 9 is gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
That's my number 8.
Yay! I
knew that's fun. What is that from? Sorry, I don't.
That's Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, okay. It's Doctor Strange. Love. Doctor Strange, love. You know Doctor Strange. It's like, oh yeah, see it, Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah. Seen it.
Yeah. It's Doctor Strange, love. It's
Northern Path.
It is. But it's again.
It's a bloody funny line.
It's a great line. It's a great line.
Such a funny, and the fact that it's just the whole meaning towards it is just so funny. It's a great movie though. Great movie. Again, full of great lines.
Indeed.
Indeed.
And I think it's one of Peter Sellers' like greatest performances in like what 2 or 3. Is it 2 or 3 roles he has in that movie?
3, isn't it?
3, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, and Stanley Kubrick doing sort of like a black comedy is a
black comedy that is probably the funniest black comedy I think I've ever seen, because it's pure laugh out loud, isn't it?
It is, but it's also unsettling as well.
In that and relevant again,
that Kubrick kind of way, unrelevant. Yeah.
Have you ever seen this one, Alice?
I haven't, but it's on my list of things that I need to watch, because I do like stuff that is like about war. I like war films, but then I also kind of like, anything that's to do with like the threat of war and stuff, and nuclear weapons and all that is all very interesting. But no, I've no idea.
Off your tits at the moment in real life, then.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. I'm just like watching it all, like, oh yeah, here we go, it's happening. But they're doing what they're doing. Cillian Murphy's going to be in it one about the guy who invented the atom bomb or the nuclear bomb.
Oh yes, it's the oh god.
Oh, what's it going to be called? I can't remember. What's the guy's name?
Oh
Yes,
yeah, that's
I
a
know.
Christopher Nolan
Christopher
movie.
Nolan
isn't it?
movie, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's the name of the guy who invented the bomb?
I can't
It's like
remember.
so iconic and famous. I can't think of
Mr.
what it's called.
Atom.
It
Is
is.
that right?
I'll know it when you say it.
It is Tennant. Oh no, that's what.
No,
No,
that's just nice. It's because
David Tennant. That's what it is.
David
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
That's
Oppenheimer.
That's it. So is that character in Doctor Strangelove? Is it like
Ooh,
is
good
the character
question.
of like is he in it, or is it not about that? Have I just completely
I
misunderstood what
dunno.
the film's about? So I thought the film was based on him and like a take on his life sort of thing and what
Well,
he did.
there's a few of them. There's like the general who's based on from the anniversary today of recording the Cuban Missile Crisis 60 years ago, wasn't it? And there was one of the generals which kept saying to Kennedy at the time, we must go to war with them over this. We must respond straight away with bombs. And Kennedy was like, no, we're not going to. And he's based on there. I'm not sure about that whole thing.
No, it doesn't look like it. I think they're all made up names.
I'm misremembering things. I think, but I should watch that film.
Yeah, they're sort of parodies of people that were really around, apparently.
General Buck Turgidson. I mean, someone with turgid in his name is General Jack D. Ripper. Is one of the character names.
Very good.
But is it George C. Scott, isn't it?
George C. Scott plays Turgidson, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one. He's a real warmonger and he's very good in the role. And then he went on to do Patton, didn't he? There you go.
He did. There you go then. Okay, so that's our first
crossover.
Yeah, our first duplicate. So Alice, your number 8 then, please.
Number 8 is, hi, I'm looking for Ray Finkel and a clean pair of shorts. That's Ace Ventura from the film Ace Ventura. In case you didn't know, starring Jim Carrey.
I know the movie. Pab's favorite.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
Ace
Ventura.
you're not a fan of Ace Ventura?
We walked out of the cinema, myself and my wife.
No way, really? It was that bad? At what moment? What did it for you?
I think we lasted half an hour, I think.
Oh,
it was
man.
just the constant gurning and alrighty then and all that stuff.
No,
We just thought
so
we just thought we cannot, and we weren't the only ones that left the cinema in that
wow.
Yeah, we weren't the only ones. But then it's weird how there are so many people that absolutely love that movie.
Well, I reckon because obviously I see it when I was a kid. So that's like it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting then. And then obviously when I watch it, like it's still that nostalgia trip. But I wonder, if you're saying with your wife, you were already married, maybe you were a bit too old to enjoy it.
Possibly.
In the cinema, maybe you're not the desired audience. Maybe it is a bit more for a younger audience. Interesting. Although some of the subject matter is pretty mature.
I'm only a couple of years younger than Pab, and I enjoyed it.
Still a couple of years younger though. Yeah.
But I don't know because I like stupid comedy. I like that kind of, it's sort of gutter humor. And Dumb and Dumber, I think, is great. And I think the thing is like I've said it before with Jim Carrey. I think if he's got a reason to act like that. Like in Dumb and Dumber, he's supposed to be a dumb person, so he can act like that and get sort of. I got no problem with that, but the fact that the way he sort of walked into a room and just stood there and gurned, I thought he's got no fucking reason to do that. Why are you doing that? You're a grown man, for God's sake.
Oh no!
And we just never got it, and we've never I haven't even watched like When Nature Calls. I've seen clips, obviously seen sort of clips of it, but yeah, it's just something that never got to me really. So what was the quote? Hi, I'm Mr.
Hi, I'm looking for Ray Finkel and a clean pair of shorts. So he's the pet detective, right? So he's going about doing his detectiving, and it brings him to this house. It's kind of like this sort of shack out in the middle of nowhere. knocks on the door. He's looking for Ray Finkel. So he goes, "Hi, I'm looking for Ray Finkel." And then whoever's on the other side of the door puts a shotgun through like this little, like the little hole in the door and sticks it in his face. And then that's when he goes, "Had a clean pair of shorts."
Right.
He's just pooped himself out of fear because he's just had a gun stuck in his face. That's what that's about.
See, you
So,
explaining
you
that was
missed
a lot
this.
funnier.
If you'd stayed, Pav, if you'd stayed to watch the film all the way through, you'd have seen it, because it's quite near the end, that bit. But yeah, if you can go back and watch it, Pav, go on.
Which is the one that's got the dolphin in it? Is that the first one?
That's the first one. Yeah, that's the first one.
I think when it came out on video or it was on Sky or whatever it was, we did watch it, and I have watched it all the way through because
you have, yeah.
What's her name from Friends?
Courtney Cox is in it, yeah.
She's in it, and Dan Marino is in it, who used to play for the Dolphins. So I have seen it up to the end. I have seen it. It just, I still, it was the fact that we paid money to go and see it, I think.
Yeah. I can't believe you walked out, man, as well. Like, that takes a lot to walk out the cinema.
I know.
Crazy.
There's not many movies I've done. I think that's the only one that we've actually walked out.
Wow.
In the middle of it. But anyway.
There we go. I'm so sorry I brought it up.
No, that's fine.
There's no more. I definitely don't have another 7 Ace Ventura quotes in this list.
Okay, Neil, your number 8 was Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah,
Same as mine.
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. My number 8 is Avengers Assemble.
What's that from?
It's from The Lion King.
A little indie flick.
A little indie flick. I think I've spoken about this movie so many times, Avengers Endgame, but that moment was the culmination of 10 years and however many movies it was, 22 movies. That was absolutely perfect. And it was one of those moments. There are a few moments in my cinema going life that I wish I was in an American screening of that movie. Because I've watched some of the YouTube reactions where someone sneaked a camera in and they've got the audio of that moment. And my God, it would have been just, I was in bits watching it 2 or 3 times. I went to the cinema anyway, watching it, but
really,
oh, absolutely. It's just, I think it's like, and I've said that actual scene where everyone's coming through the portals is, apart from Star Wars, is the most emotional I've got in the cinema. That I think it's because the whole point of Marvel got it right and DC got it wrong, that you're invested in the characters and you care about the characters, and some of these characters you thought are gone have come back. And Captain America was there on his own and he was on his ass and he knew he was going to die, and then Cap on your left, and oh my God, and then it's just fantastic. It's a great way. And then obviously everything after that, spoilers. I will say there may be spoilers as well. I'm probably a bit late.
Oh yeah, talk about films.
There may be spoilers, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, apologies. We haven't spoiled anything yet, I don't think. But I don't. Anyway,
there's still time.
There's still time. Yes, Alice, your number 7, please.
Number 7. Here we go. Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You wouldn't marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? So that is Marilyn Monroe in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Oh.
Her character is called Lorelei. And this was one that we did on the podcast because we do the classic films every now and then. And I picked Gentlemen Prefer Blondes because I'd kind of heard a lot about it, but I hadn't seen it. And I hadn't really seen much Marilyn Monroe films either. And I watched it and it was just so much better than I expected it to be. And it had some really interesting messages. I thought she was brilliant in it. Jane Russell was brilliant in it. And she had a few good quotes actually throughout the film. But then that one, I just really like that one because it is just kind of like, because her whole thing and her whole character is she just wants that security. Like she's just desperate for security in her life. So she wants to marry a man who she likes and who is nice to her, but who's also got a load of money, right? So that she knows she's going to be looked after forever. And it's kind of like just a bit of an observation of the double standard. It's like, well, yeah, men a lot of the time want to marry someone that they're attracted to. That's just how it is. So she just wants to marry someone who can give her that security and who's got the money. Yeah. I just thought it was pretty good. And I wanted to put Marilyn Monroe in there as well because she herself is iconic. I know we were going to use that word a lot, but she is, isn't she?
Absolutely. She is. And I think the more Marilyn Monroe movies you watch, there's not a lot of them, granted, but I think she's a bit like Elvis in the fact that her photograph has always been there.
Yeah.
But when you see them moving around doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's almost a little bit like experiencing them for the first time. I mean, I love Some Like It Hot. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. And she is amazing in it. She looks amazing. She's funny. But then when you hear about all of the, the backstage stuff, that she was a pain in the ass to work with, it's one of those people that you think, I wonder what she'd have been like if she'd have, carried on living, if you like, the kind of movies she would have done if she'd have made any movies after that. What sort of stuff she would have done. Has anybody seen that?
Blonde. Yeah, I was going to ask the same question.
I haven't seen it.
It's
been slated. I've read, because a lot of I think people were hoping that the whole point was that it was going to show like the real her, as much as you can, obviously, writing about someone who died some time ago. But that it was going to showcase the real, like, Norma Jean, so not the Marilyn Monroe character. But apparently it's just her being in character all the time, because obviously that's not her voice. That's not really how she looks. She is being a character. Marilyn Monroe is a character.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people were just disappointed that, it's just more of that. Like, we're not seeing what she was, like, an authentic version of her. She's still doing the fake voice and doing all this. But I am going to watch it because I'm just interested to see as well what people's criticisms were, if they're accurate, if they're justified, sort of thing. And I just want to see a bit more about Marilyn as well.
I'll probably watch it at some
I would like
stage.
to watch it. I don't know about you. Whenever I watch here's another question: is it biopic? Would you say it's a biopic?
I say biopic. Biopic with an O instead of an O. But I'm sure both are fine because people talk different, Pav, and that's cool.
All right, love.
All right, love.
How do you say it?
Strange, love.
Is it
I
biopic?
always said biopic, but
yeah, because Mel, who we've had on the podcast, I was talking to her about it, and she said biopic, and I'd never heard of that before.
Oh, really? You haven't even heard it? Yeah, I say biopic. Yeah.
But I always do, if I ever watch a biopic now, I always go onto IMDb and try and find out what was true and what they've just added on,
right,
for Hollywood-fied it, because you get sort of invested in some of these things and you think, oh, I can't believe that happened. And then you find out that actually it's 3 or 4 instances that they've all sort of amalgamated together to make the narrative better or whatever. And you think, why? There's no need to do that. I want to see it all, warts and all.
If you do want to see Marilyn Monroe acting, and that has proven that she's a good actress, watch The Misfits. It's really good.
Yeah,
it is
I'll
very
put that
good.
on my list. Yeah, because I think she's great. I think she is really good. And I think a lot of people have just got an idea of what she is, and she got sort of typecast a little bit. But no, okay. So The Misfits, that's certainly a little bit different, is it?
Yeah, it's a Western. It's got
okay, cool. I do love a Western.
Yeah,
that was her last movie, wasn't it? I think
it was. Both of their last movies.
Oh, there I believe. Go on, the Neil. You're number 7.
So you got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Which was from Dirty Harry, not Sudden Impact, which everybody quotes, but it's the original. I'm a fan of Dirty Harry. I like the original flares and all, and dodgy direction, but obviously it's a good narrative. It's a good story, and it's a really good script if you read it. The fact that Frank Sinatra was originally going to play him just still baffles me when I watch it. Really baffles me. But are you both a fan of Dirty Harry movies?
Yeah,
I know they got weaker as they went on, but
yeah, they were classed as very hard hitting.
Well, they were. I mean, for its time, it's quite brutal, Dirty Harry, isn't it? I mean, the way he takes out that robber, for its time.
Well, for its time, I suppose.
It's no Game of Thrones sort of brutality, but then it would never have got released if it was, wasn't it?
That is true.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. I just think they're great. I watched Dirty Harry again. This is why I put it in. Only literally the week before last, one evening, it was on. I think it was on 5 Star or something stupid, but I ended up watching it and I really, really enjoyed it. Forgotten how much I enjoyed it.
It's on 5 Star.
Yeah, do you remember them?
Was it Rain or Shine?
It was. 5 Star is a channel miles down on your remote that I didn't even hear or didn't even know of, but it's there. And I've looked back to see if there's any other good movies, and they're all just shite.
Oh, right.
On there. But they put Dirty Harry on, and I was like, wow, okay, I'll watch that.
Okay, all right then. Do you feel lucky, punk?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
All right, calm down.
Everybody misquotes it, don't they?
Sorry. My number 7 is another one that culminates the movie at the end. Dad, you want to have a catch? Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
Just makes you want to cry when you hear it, doesn't it?
It's a perfect movie for me, Field of Dreams.
It's a movie I need to watch again. It's been a while. It's been a while just to see how it holds up. Because obviously, what was it? Late 80s, wasn't it?
Well, 89, I think it was.
80,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
89,
Kevin Costner
yeah.
when he was right in his like sweet spot of like being. Well, he was just becoming a
Because he
absolute
did Bull
mega.
Durham around the same sort of time, didn't he?
He did,
The two
yeah.
baseball movies.
He did like 2 baseball movies back to back. But if anybody wants a good cry, that's the movie.
Yeah.
That's the movie to watch. It is just fantastic. Alice, have you watched Field of Dreams?
I haven't seen it. I'm writing it down now. I'm putting these on I'm going to make a list as we go, because again, it's one, like I've heard so much about it and people talk about it in such high regard and that. So when he says, do you want to catch dad? Is his dad dead? Is it a ghost?
Are we going to spoil it for you?
Oh, well, I kind of gathered that anyway from like the little
basic.
Yeah.
So basically, he digs up his cornfield, and all of a sudden, this whole team from the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, well,
So whichever team it was, Charlie
Sheen
was in a movie called 9 Men Out. Was it called, or 8 Men Out or something?
9 Men Out. Yeah.
9 Men Out. All about the Boston Red Sox, where they had to win a certain amount of games, and their owner was going to give them a load of money. So then something happened in regards, they threw a game or something, and they all got kicked out of baseball. So these are the players that come back as ghosts on Kevin Costner, because he gets these voices.
Not Charlie Sheen, mind
not
you,
Charlie
Alice.
Sheen.
No,
No,
not
Ray
Charlie
Liotta, actually, wasn't it? Ray Liotta. He gets the voice saying, "If you build it, he will
They
come."
will come, right?
And
So I know
he
that
thinks-
quote as well. Yeah.
He thinks it's about Shoeless Joe Jackson, who was somebody that his dad thought was like the greatest baseball player ever, and then didn't like him because he thought he was a crook. He was a cheat and a thief and all this stuff. So it goes on. Obviously, Kevin Costner's got daddy issues, but obviously his dad died when he was very, very young. And then it all culminates at the end. There's loads. I mean, what else is there? There's not. If he builds it, they will come. Go the Distance is another one.
Yeah, see, I heard that.
good.
Yeah, really iconic film. This isn't it?
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I wonder why
it's
it's
full of
just
them.
passed me by. This, like,
And
because
it's
if it's from the 80s as well, I don't know why I would have missed that.
one of Burt Lancaster's last films. He plays Archibald Moonlight Graham, who only ever had he almost got to the majors and had like 1 innings, and
It's sweet.
It's a beautiful movie,
yeah,
and then it culminates at the end where all the
it's
players
8 Men Out, by the way. It's
8
not
Men
9
Out. Yeah,
8
all the
Men Out.
players are going out back into the cornfield, and this one guy is still there. I'm gonna get choked up just talking about it. Seriously, it's like the music. The music is fantastic. It is one of the most. It was in my top 10 movie soundtracks of all time, and he knows who he is. So this guy comes up to him and is sort of saying, "Is this heaven?" And he goes, "No, this is Iowa." And then it gets a little bit schmaltzy because he sort of says, "Is there a heaven?" And he goes, "Oh fuck."
He's going. Take a minute.
And he goes, "Oh, well, heaven is the place where dreams come true." And Kevin Costner looks over at his wife and his daughter, and he goes, "Well, this must be heaven then." And so his dad starts walking away, and he knows that it's his dad, but his dad doesn't. Well, you don't think he knows who he is. And then as he's walking away, he just goes, "Dad, do you want to have a catch?" And then he turns around and goes, "I would love that." And then it's just, it's fucking amazing. It really is.
I'm going to pick it because we do the classic film thing sometimes on the podcast, and it's usually a classic film that we haven't seen. I reckon I'll pick that one as my next one.
You
Fields of Dreams.
Great movie.
I think that's a good one.
The only thing I need to question is I haven't seen it for a good many years. Has it dated at all?
I don't think it has. I mean, there's obviously bits of it where they're talking about certain things, but I don't think it has, because it's set in, they're talking about I don't know what they are, 1920s, these players,
1920s, 30s,
1930s. And it's just got that magical quality to it. It's very Frank Capra.
Yeah.
If you like, very It's a Wonderful Life-ish kind of thing, because there's a little bit of going back in time, and it's just a beautiful film. And Kevin Costner is just like spot on. He's absolutely
so
spot on
good
in that.
Yeah.
And
it's a great movie, Alice. You will love it.
Yeah,
You'll
I
love
reckon
it.
I will.
And-
I like soppy emotional shit like that.
Good,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
what I
there,
like
I'm
to
there.
hear.
But it's
So-
well made, soppy emotional shit. It's not.
Even
It's
better.
not overly cliche. I mean,
No.
obviously, it's become a little bit cliched with some of the dialogue that you hear, but that's because of the overuse of it.
Yeah,
But
and that actual baseball field now in America is like a massive tourist attraction.
Yeah,
People
but-
go to that. James Earl Jones is in it as well.
oh yeah,
It's fantastic. So yeah, thoroughly recommend it. Right, Alice, you give me your number 6 while I go and dry my eyes.
Yeah, this one won't make you cry. Don't worry, it shouldn't do anyway. Okay. So this is the plan. The band starts up, the fans go wild, the lights come on, and I walk center stage and hang myself. So that is from Spice World, the movie, right? So we did this on the podcast again, but this is because these are films that I've watched recently, right? So obviously the film is about the Spice Girls. It's, just to make money. It's a cash cow. It's, promoting the Spice Girls, all this, blah, blah, blah. But Richard E. Grant is in it, and he plays their manager called Clifford, and he is brilliant in this film. Like, he absolutely stands out. He gives such a good performance. His character is hilarious. And this is towards the end where he's having a bit of a breakdown because the girls have gone off and they're meant to be doing their first ever live gig at the Royal Albert Hall, but they're not anywhere to be found, sort of thing. So then he's just like, yep, I'll just go onto the stage and hang myself. That's what I'll do. Like, that's his solution to this problem. And it is just such a weird turn in the film, like, because it's like a kid's film about the Spice Girls. And then he just says that. And I was just like, what the fuck? But yeah, brilliant. Brilliant. Love it.
That it's been a long time.
I think I've only ever seen it once.
Oh,
I
it's
remember seeing it at the cinema.
If you like the Spice Girls, it's pretty cool, man. There's a lot of Spice Girls music. They're running around in their tour bus with the Union flag on it and all this. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, and I think it's better. It was better than I thought it was going to be because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid. But then watch it, I was like, actually, there's a lot of really good things about this. Some of the script is quite funny. Some of the characters are quite funny. But yeah, Richard E. Grant in that, just brilliant.
But he's great anyway. And I'm looking forward to his new memoir. Will be out soon. Has anybody read With Nails?
No.
It's one of the best memoirs ever written. Honestly, diaries. But yeah, his new one's coming out. So I'm excited. I hope it's as scathing and as vicious as the last one.
Oh, right. Really?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. He doesn't hold back.
He's a national treasure, isn't he?
He is a bit now, isn't he?
And he lives near us. There you go.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah, he lives Nailsworth way.
No.
Stroud way. Yes, he does.
Does he really?
Yeah, I've seen him a few times when I used to work for the Waitrose.
Oh my God. Did you ever shout, hey, you were great in Spice World? I'm sure you loved that.
I used to shout, roll me a Camberwell carrot.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There,
fantastic. Go on then, Neil. You're number 6.
So, you going to bark all day, little doggy, or are you going to bite? Does anyone know what that's from?
That's Reservoir Dogs.
It is Reservoir Dogs.
That makes sense.
Yes. So, it's from the ear cutting scene, isn't it? When he's torturing. Is that right? No,
that's
it's Harvey Keitel, isn't it?
Yeah,
I got it wrong. Yes, it's when he's being antagonized, and that's the response he came out with, and it's one that again I've used. But I've also got a collector's box when Reservoir Dogs was released on video, VHS, and I've kept it, and it came with a cigarette lighter, a Clippo. It's got the logo of Reservoir Dogs. It's got the postcard, which has got that "Are you going to bark all day?" or sticker. It's supposed to be the copy of the script and the VHS, and then a making of video and it's all stored away upstairs. For what purpose I don't know, because I don't own a VHS anymore. But you got to keep these things. But
You're
yes,
saving it to like cash in with the big bucks later on, aren't you?
Yeah. Maybe. Probably not.
Probably not.
No, probably not.
And what did you call the lighter? A Clippo? Isn't it a Zippo?
Did I call it a Clipper? That's the wrong sort of lighter, isn't it? A Zippo.
A Zippo.
Yeah.
One of those ones that are very cool that they flick.
Yeah. People do them.
Yeah.
But I think it's we talk about iconic dialogue and everything. I think Reservoir Dogs was an introduction to scripts and film scripts that we hadn't heard before, like we spoke about in other podcasts. It became real conversations rather than movie conversations. You know, the whole bit at the beginning when they sat around the dining table there in the restaurant. Have you ever seen Reservoir Dogs, Alice?
I have, but only once and
Right.
a long time ago, but I did enjoy it, and I do love Tarantino.
Yeah. I mean, it might even be, I know it's his original movie, and it's always controversial to everybody, but it might actually be my favorite Tarantino movie because it's only an hour and a half. You know, you don't, and sometimes with Tarantino movies, they can feel a bit of a slog when you're there for 3 hours. You know, I have to say, I think Django Unchained is too long, far too long. It could have easily chopped the end off of that and other bits. Yeah, but I still love them all the same. Anyway, let's not be too controversial. I get hate now. I love Tarantino. He's probably my favorite director, but you know, I just think an editor could help every day.
Okay, my number 6. Okay, it's not the years, honey. It's the mileage.
That's Indiana Jones, isn't it?
It is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah. This is one of the lines that like you said, Alice, that like you see the scene. He's all beaten up. They're on the ship. Him and Marilyn are on the ship, and he's trying to be very carefully because he's got cuts and bumps and bruises all over his body, and he's just trying to take his shirt off. And Marion has been very kind and trying to clean every little wound up, and everything hurts. And she says, I think she says something like, "You're not the man I knew like 10 years ago," or whatever it was. And he says, "It's not the years, honey, it's the mileage." And then wonderful comedy afterwards where every little bit hurts.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Well, where doesn't it hurt?" And he goes, "Here," on the end of his elbow. So she kisses him here. I mean, obviously, for me, it would have gone completely different. I'd have been pointing in different places.
There's a whole movement started about that.
But then culminating in a great bit of physical comedy. No, I think before that, isn't it, where he's looking in the mirror and Marion's the other side of the mirror looking at stuff, and she sort of wipes it and then flips it over and smacks him on the jaw. And there's a massive, great big scream from him. But it's one of those things. It culminates and tells you exactly what's happening in that scene, that he is just beaten and tired and just wants to go to sleep. And he's got no time for anything else because he is absolutely knackered. In more ways than one. Not tired, but just his body is completely gone. But yeah, so that's my number 6. Alice, your number 5 then, please.
Number 5 is Do You Bleed? That was me trying to beat Henry Cavill's Superman in Justice League when I think he's got Batman up by his throat or something. So they removed this from the Snyder cut for some reason that I don't get, because it was the best moment in the whole fucking film. So I really like Superman. I love the Superman films, like the early stuff with Christopher Reeves, and then Henry Cavill when he started. I was like, yeah, you know what? I enjoy this too. And dark Superman is something I want to see more of. Like, I like that. I like that as a narrative. So obviously they bring him back to life in Justice League. He goes fucking crazy because he doesn't really know what's going on. And he just he's about to kill Batman sort of thing. And he says, "Do you bleed?" And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that's so cool. And then they took it out of the fucking Snyder cut. And I was like, why? Like, you've got what, 5-6 hours, whatever the fuck it was of all this. And they took that out. I was just so baffled. I didn't understand, because Justice League it's like, as a film, it's all right. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's all right. But that moment, I was just like, oh yeah, that's fucking cool. That like brings the film up another few points. And then they took it out. The fucking Snyder cut. I was like, why? But yeah, I like Superman when he's being a bit darker. When you get in like the other side of Superman, like there's a bit in it. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a bit in it when the Flash starts running around him, and the Flash is all just like, oh yeah, I'm the fastest thing ever. You know, no one can harm me, sort of thing. And then you see Superman just like in Flash's like fast-paced, like little sort of CGI world sort of thing. Superman turns and looks at him and makes eye contact, and it's like that realization. It's like, it doesn't matter how fucking fast you are, mate, he's Superman. Like, and then he starts punching him and actually getting some punches in while the Flash is doing his like super fast thing, and all that was just really cool. So I just really love that moment where it's just a little bit darker. Henry Cavill, I think, is pretty good. I do love Christopher Reeves a lot as Superman, so like nothing was ever going to live up to that, but I thought Henry Cavill did an all right job. But yeah, just a brilliant moment in an all right film.
I prefer the Snyder cut. I think the Snyder cut is like, even though it's 4 hours long,
yeah, there's bits of it that I really enjoy. There are bits of it that I really enjoy, and it fleshes out a lot of the stuff that maybe feels a little bit empty in the original one. But to remove Superman saying that line, I didn't understand it. And like when I was watching the Snyder cut, I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to seeing that line, to seeing Henry Cavill saying that again. And they'd just taken it out, and I was just so confused. I was like, what? Why? Like, I don't understand why you've done that. Like, in my head, it's really cool and it's a really great moment, and you're seeing a side of Superman that you don't usually see. I just didn't get it, and it pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Fair enough.
I can see that. Were you a fan of which version did you like? I mean, I think the original Justice League.
I still not watched the Snyder cut.
Is a piece of pants. I think it's just. I mean, it's.
But
we went to the cinema and watched that, and then that very first scene where you see Henry Cavill and his terrible CGI upper lip. That was it. It was like it just made everybody think, what the hell is going on? It just ruined it, and the decisions that Joss Whedon made, like story-wise, just didn't seem to make any sense.
Not at all.
And then, like you say, I think it just made more sense having it fleshed out a bit more. And I mean, they're still pretty bad movies, though.
They're not great.
That's why I've not watched the Snyder cut.
No, I would recommend
4 hours.
I would recommend watching it because I think it's got some really good bits in it.
It's not high on
apart from the very last bit, the bit with the Joker. Don't bother with that bit, but.
See, I really like that bit because it's a bit darker, isn't it? Again, you get to see like the aftermath of what happens when Superman goes fucking mental.
Yes.
Like, I think that looks great because he is unstoppable. It's just like a little reminder. It's like he is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like if he wanted to, he could fucking annihilate every single one of us. I kind of like that. Kind of like the threat,
Yeah, that makes sense. Go on then, Neil. You're number 5.
So we talk about iconic lines. This is a very much a one and very popular, but it's used a lot. Is "You're going to need a bigger boat."
I nearly put that on my list.
Which
nearly did.
I nearly put, "Why don't you come down here and shovel this shit?" Because I always say that quite a lot when I'm working, just for a laugh. But it's a great line, isn't it? It's a great line from a great moment of the movie. Is it the first big reveal of the shark? I suppose it is, isn't it? Coming out the water.
Oh, yeah, interesting. First time you see his face, isn't it? Like proper like that. Yeah.
Well, that's right after "Why don't you come down here and shovel some of this shit?"
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Which is why I was going to use it. But years ago, when I first had like a mixing desk, I got the audio of that and I put it together with the audio from the Phantom Menace. So for my ringtone, it used to say, "You're going to need a bigger boat. There's always a bigger fish." And that was my text message for a while. Everybody kept saying, "What movie is that from?" Because it's not one from Jaws, is it? And I said, "Well, listen to it better and you'll understand." Never did tell anyone, but hey.
Well done. Okay, so my number 5 is "Let's Go Out Dancing. You put on your black dress and I'll go and shave my tongue." Dear, it always cracks me up.
What's that from?
That's from Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
Oh,
with, Steve Martin. Yeah. There was like loads of different quotes I wanted to get from Steve Martin films, but that was the one that I was, because it's so stupid. And Alice, have you heard of Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid?
Nope, not at all.
Right. So can you remember a few years ago, Griff Rhys-Jones used to do Heineken adverts, I think it was, where he was it was like black and white movies. So he'd all of a sudden be in a movie with Steve McQueen or something like that. I don't know, that might even be too.
They did the ice cold, what's it? That ice cold one, didn't they? When they came out from the cold. Oh, I can't think of the film.
But that was the idea. But that's the idea behind this movie. So Steve Martin plays a private detective, and there is a narrative obviously for his movie, but what he does is take famous scenes from other black and white movies and puts them in the movie so it fits with the narrative of what his movie is, if that makes sense. So
that's interesting.
He's playing opposite Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, Cary Grant, all these famous people, and it is fucking hilarious. And this particular scene, he's with Ingrid Bergman, I think it is, and she slips something in his drink, so he starts going a bit doolally, and he's going, "Let's go out dancing. You put on your black dress, I'll go and shave my tongue." And then the next scene is he's in the bathroom putting shaving foam on his tongue and going,
No, oh god, no! You don't. Do you see it? Like, is there blood and stuff?
Oh no, not blood.
Oh,
No,
no,
he's
no,
just
it's not
it's not blood, but he's just going like that, and
Oh,
he shaves
no.
and then he comes back outside and just collapses and stuff.
Holy
Rachel
shit.
Ward is in it as well.
Dead
Carolina.
men don't wear plaid. Is
Plaid,
that what
yeah.
you said?
Yeah,
Righto,
and it
that's
is-
going on the list.
It is fantastic. It is such
very
a good
funny.
film.
Interesting.
You
And,
don't see it on the normal TV stations anymore. You know, when films
No.
crop up. I've never seen that one.
I bought it on Apple, like my Apple iTunes, whatever it is, like $4.99 it was. So I thought I'm going to buy that because I haven't seen that for ages, and I watched it like a couple of times, and it is so funny. It's so clever, the way that they make comedy out of what are already, you know, movies that were shot from 50 years ago or whatever. It's just very, very cleverly done. Okay, number 4 for you, please, Alice.
Number 4. Okay, this one's a bit wordy. Here we go. What business does an elf, a man, and a dwarf have in the Ridmark? Speak quickly. Give me your name, horse master, and I shall give you mine. I would cut off your head, dwarf, if it stood but a little higher from the ground. That was Éomer and Gimli from The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. Bit of a long one. Again, this is one where it's the moment, like it's the moment in the film. So you've got Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli running around trying to save Merry and Pippin, and then they just get surrounded by this army on horses who are incredibly hostile because they've just been dealing with all the orcs and stuff. And it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen sort of thing. And it's just a good introduction to Éomer as well, obviously, in the Riders of Rohan. But yeah, my love for Lord of the Rings was reignited earlier this year because I hadn't seen the films in ages. Always liked them when I was a kid, but then hadn't seen them in ages. And then it was my husband's birthday, and he was like, right, what I want to do is I want to watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended versions. I was like, okay, sick. I hadn't seen the extended versions. And they were just so fucking good. And I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. And then we watched it again because I thought it was so good. And it's just all I think about now. I'm just like looking at Lord of the Rings memes. I'm like obsessed with the Rings.
I was going to say,
I'm obsessed because it's Lord of the Rings content. Some of the acting is pretty terrible, and some of the script is pretty bad and cheesy. But I'm just, I'm excited that it's those characters, and I'm trying to love it. I'm trying to love it because of my love for Lord of the Rings sort of thing. But it could be better. I think it could be better, but we'll see. I'm going to see what the payoff's like when we get to the end, right? Because I'm waiting for something big to happen. Well, have you seen it? What did you think?
No,
you haven't.
No,
oh, okay.
It's to be watched, as it
were. Okay. Oh, I hope I didn't spoil it. No,
because my friend said it was all good till Lenny Henry turned up.
Nah, he's all right actually. He's probably one of the better actors in it.
Oh, really?
The problem is, and going back and watching the trilogy, so Ian McKellen, Christopher Lee, and Ian Holm, who plays Bilbo, they are such just extraordinary actors, like just absolute powerhouses. Like Ian McKellen and Gandalf is really holding that whole fucking thing together. Like he's so brilliant. He's like this connector between all the different characters, and he's so good. And I think in this, you're just kind of missing that. Like you're missing that sort of older, more experienced, like that real powerhouse of an actor to sort of pull the whole thing together. It's a lot of unknowns, which is obviously fine, but there's just some weaknesses in the script, some weaknesses in the performance, but I'm still hooked and I still love it because I'm like, well, it's still these places and all that, and it's still like, Gladriel's there and Elrond's there and all this, so I'm trying to enjoy it that way.
Does it look good? Because obviously they spent a shit ton of money on it, didn't they? So.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. Like they're on one of the islands when they're on Numenor. It looks beautiful. Some of the costume is brilliant. Some of the CGI is brilliant. And then for some of the orcs, they do use practical effects, which is obviously where a lot of the strength in the original trilogy lied, was the use of practical effects there. So when they do use that, it does look really good. But yeah, some of the costumes are brilliant as well. So yeah, it looks fabulous.
It should do for the money that they spent on it. Because I think
Yes,
Amazon
yes,
spent
indeed.
a shit ton of money on it, didn't
They
they?
did. They said the most expensive TV show ever, wasn't it?
Ever, really? Whoa.
Yeah.
The trouble is, at the moment, I'm trying to get through the House of the Dragon.
Exactly what I was about to say.
So I can't go through more. My name is Idabong of Billabong, and I'm coming from.
Here's my family
Azamon
history.
to Hidabi, and I just too many names. It's ridiculous. I'm watching Andor as well, so that's got new names and stuff like that. It's just too much brain overload. I just can't take any more of it. But it does look. I mean, yeah, it looks intriguing. I must admit.
Definitely worth. I mean, just worth a watch. And a lot of the criticisms I've seen about it, I don't think are just, and I don't agree with at all. But I do have criticism of it.
Right.
So, but just not why everyone else seems to hate it. But I don't hate it. I just think it could have been better. But again, having said that, there might be some really excellent payoff at the end. So I'm just waiting for that. These last like 2 episodes or so. So we'll see. By the time this comes out, it might have already finished though. So you'll know.
Okay, right then. Neil, your number 4 then, please.
So we spoke about ones that we really do use a lot of the time, and I really do use this one a lot of the time. It goes, I don't know, I'm making this up as I go along, which is from the movie that Pav quoted earlier, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That was nearly in mine. That was the 2. It's not the years and that one.
And when I remember seeing it as a kid, and it made me laugh, and it still makes me chuckle every time I see it now. And it's just sort of the story of what he's going through, isn't it? But yes, I do use that a lot in all sorts of circumstances. To my kids, to my mum and dad, even to all my work colleagues. They've probably heard it a million times.
It's such a throwaway line, but it's perfect for that character. That's the thing.
It is.
Is that he's not a professional. He's quite happy to just pull his gun and kill somebody with a sword rather than try and fight them. You know what I mean? Just to survive. I think that's it's a perfect character line.
It is.
Without
it sort of sums him up all the way, doesn't it? His whole arc in that.
I would love to know if that was maybe a whether that was scripted or whether that was.
I think it was scripted. I really do. Yeah, I think it was. So, but you never know. It might be wrong. Yeah, it's a great.
I mean, I was very, very close. That was on my list.
Was it?
Yeah, but I decided
Are you a fan of Raiders, Alice?
Haven't seen any Indiana Jones films.
What the fuck is going on?
So I literally just added it to my list. Then while you were chatting, I was like, yeah, I've got to watch it. I know.
How in the Lord's balls have you watched Ace Ventura but not seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I don't know. Again, it's one of these that's just passed me. I've got a lot of blind spots in like my film watching sort of history sort of thing. But that does seem like the type of one that my dad should have made me watch when I was a kid, and he just didn't. So I don't know if he hadn't seen it or what. But yeah, I've put it on my list. I will watch it.
It is a perfect movie.
Is it? Yeah, that's big words, man. Yeah,
it is. For sure, it is a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I said Die Hard's nearly a perfect movie. Raiders is the perfect movie. So it is the best action movie.
Is it is that the first one?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, there's only 3.
There's only 3. Okay.
Yeah, we don't count number 4 really.
Number 4 we just lose. It's
not good.
It's awful.
I do that with Terminator 3. Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 5 will be coming out next year, so it'll be interesting.
Which we
to
have
see
hopes for.
what happens
that's still with Harrison Ford, isn't it? Because I heard about when he was filming it.
But it's not Steven Spielberg this time. It's James Mangold.
Yeah.
Did Steven Spielberg do the other
4?
3, 4?
3.
Yeah, he did the other 4.
He did the 3. He did the 3. Okay, that's on my list. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Got it.
I would say though, it's close to being one of the best trilogies.
Yeah.
I would say Temple of Doom,
they don't dip.
and Last Crusade. Last Crusade with Sean Connery. Fantastic. It's a really, really good movie. So I would say that, I think we should do like top 10 movie trilogies. I think that'd be quite high up there for me.
Probably
because I've sort of fallen in love more with Temple of Doom as it's gone on. I didn't like it because it's got kids in it, and kids are normally the ones that fuck movies up because they're too kidified. That's why I don't like the first Harry Potter movie, because they're too much like kids. Well, they are kids. I know they are kids, but do you know what I mean? It's like kids acting
can be ropey.
It can be. Not everybody can be Haley Joel Osment, can they? That's the thing, unfortunately. Okay, so my number 4, we've already heard it already, but it's Hello, My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I love this movie, Princess Bride, obviously. There's a couple of whether TikToks or Instagram things of it's Mandy Patinkin. Is that how you say his last name?
I think so. Something along those lines.
Something like that. The guy who played Inigo Montoya, talking about, and he gets so emotional talking about like that scene and doing the fighting scene with Christopher Guest. Because his father had died apparently just before they started filming. And like he said, when you killed my father, prepare to die. And he said when he killed the six-fingered man, that was like he was like killing the cancer that killed his dad. And he's talking in this, and he was saying that it was like just so emotional, and he got so emotional with it. And also when he filmed his fight scene with I can never remember his name. That's the one. He said that the worst thing an actor can hear is cut and print. He said, because then you know you're never going to do it again. He said, and he teared up and he was crying. He said the fact that I wasn't able to do that fight scene with him again just broke my heart. He said, because it was something that was just like meant so much to me. And I had a lot more. I don't really like him as an actor. I've never really seen much of him apart from this. I felt so much love towards him, I'm I like giving love, I like doing that kind of. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking fucking rubbish.
Have you've seen Princess Bride, surely, Alice?
No, I don't think I am. Sorry. I know this bitch has got a film podcast as well. Terrible.
Jeez, you gotta watch that one. There's another one. This is high on your list.
Is the title like misleading? Like, I just wonder if the title, The Princess Bride, like if that's just never sort of caught my eye, and so I've never.
When you see the little picture, the thumbnail of it, it looks a bit shite.
Okay, yeah.
It looks like it looks very Disney-fied. Doesn't look like a Disney princess thing. It's not that.
It's not that. Okay,
not
see, I
that.
think maybe I thought that's what it is, but that's what you get for judging a film by its title, which you shouldn't do.
Yeah, if you think
Princess
of the fact
Bride is on there.
Peter Cook is in it.
Yeah, it's a Rob Reiner film with Christopher Guest. It's that kind of thing. It's. I'm not saying it's not like a Mel Brooks kind of parody movie, but it's a very slanted view of like a Disney kind of fairy tale. Yeah, fairy tale.
Is it fun? Is it funny? Is it a comedy?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a comedy.
Yeah,
okay, got you.
Peter Falk basically sits and reads. It's Fred Savage, isn't it?
It is Fred Savage. Yeah.
Reads his grandson The Princess Bride, and then you see the story that he's reading. Basically,
yeah.
It's a William Goldman script, and it's a fucking brilliant script.
Inconceivable.
Yeah.
That's another
marriage.
Marriage, yes, marriage. Oh dear.
There's some great moments. You'll be quoting away.
Stick that one on your list, Alice.
Yes, it's there. It's there. It's on there with Indiana Jones.
You won't. You'll thank us when you see these.
Yeah.
You will.
Yeah.
It won't be a case.
No, I trust you. I trust you for sure.
Your number 3, then, please, Alice.
Okay. Good morning, Dr. Silberman. How's the knee? That's Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. I do believe it's her. Well, if you don't count the sort of narration bit that she does at the very beginning, that is her introduction to the film. It's one of my favorite film moments of all time. Like, she's in a cell. She's obviously in the psychiatric unit. She's turned her bed on its side so she can do pull-ups on it. She looks like a completely different person to how she did in the first film. And then that's her introductory line. And I think you just get so much from it. You get so much of her anger and of her resentment. And then the fucking doctors are obviously on the other side of a door, just like peering in and looking at her like she's some animal. But then you get that, like, even though she is like the oppressed in this situation, she's still got fight in her. And she fucking stabbed him in the knee, and it's only just getting better, sort of thing. And yeah, I think she's sick. She's one of my favorite characters in anything ever. Terminator 2 is my favorite film ever. Yeah, had to go in there. I know obviously there's a few more maybe more known quotes that I could have picked from Terminator, but that's the one for me.
It's just the one that you like. But how did you find the latest Terminator when she came back?
No, not good, unfortunately. Like, there's this thing where, so Terminator Salvation I thought was all right because it was doing something different, and it was they were different characters. It was a slightly different story, and they were going down a bit of a different route. But this whole thing of trying to prop up older actors, but as if they were still that age, it doesn't work. And that's how it felt. It's how it feels when I see Linda Hamilton reprising that role, even when Arnie is being the Terminator again. It just feels awkward and it feels odd. I felt the same as well, actually, in the more recent Star Wars with Carrie Fisher. Like, there was just something like a bit uncomfortable about it. Like, I just got the vibe that she didn't really want to be there. And it's just like, oh, but you are this character, so you have to come and do these films, sort of thing. Yeah, I don't like Terminator. First Terminator and Terminator 2, brilliant. Terminator Salvation, pretty good. And then the rest were just dog shit. Which is a real shame.
Genesis or Gen Ysis is
Gen Ysis. Yeah.
That is the worst.
I tried. I think I literally got, I obviously didn't walk out the cinema because I didn't go to the cinema, but I think I got about 20, 25 minutes in and I just had to turn it off. I was like, I'm just not getting anything from this. Do you know what I mean?
I think it was one movie I wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And the fact that Matt Smith's in it was so fleetingly, isn't he, at the end?
But then there is a end of credits sting kind of thing, isn't there? Like
they were going to have this new universe,
and it's sort of like, it's so sort of, oh, I can see what you're fucking trying to do there. You're trying to go make us go, oh, can't wait for the next one, when it wasn't earned at all. I think it's a shocking movie.
The problem is, I mean, you know, from my humble assessment sort of thing, but because of what the Avengers did, and with this extended universe and with all these characters and, you know, all these films and all this world building, everyone now in hindsight is trying to make that happen. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, because there was obviously more of a plan. There was more of like, they had something in mind to how all this was gonna sort of climax at the end. And that's why it works. But you can't go back to a film that come out in like fucking 1990 and go, this was leading up to this film that we're doing now in 2020 for sure. Yeah, all your favorite characters are back. Everyone, look, it's Arnie and Linda and all this, and it's this like this forced sort of feeling to everything. It's like, just let it die. Like Matrix, fucking brilliant. Matrix 2, 3, and 4, fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no need. Just be happy with what you have. But it's almost this thing of, they just need to guarantee that someone's going to watch it and that someone's going to pay money to see it. So if you use all these old characters and this old story, it's like, oh, well, the old fans will come back in because they just want to see these characters or whatever. But it's just shit most of the time.
It's like Terminator did it, and I think Halloween have done it as well, haven't they? They'll bring a new one out and they'll go, just forget about numbers 3 and 4. This is now going to follow on from like number 2, or follow on like Halloween did, follow on from the original number 1, and forget about all that other stuff that we did, you know, years ago. And it doesn't work. I don't think it's not earned, like you say. It's not earned at all. Go on then, Neil. You're number 3.
Striker. Surely you can't be serious.
Hey?
From Airplane. I am serious, but don't call me Shirley.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Did he say Striker in that?
Yeah. I had to look it up because I put surely you can't be serious, but the quote is Striker, surely you can't be serious. I am serious, but don't call me Shirley.
Hang on, I'm confused now then. Because it's Striker that says surely you can't be serious.
No.
And then Leslie Nielsen says, I am serious and don't call me Shirley. So I don't need to pull you up on it, Neil. I'm just like,
well, surely you can't be serious. I read it on the quote, on the film quote.
Maybe they're doing that. Yeah, maybe they're doing that. So it's saying Striker says.
Yeah, Striker, and then colon. And then
surely you can't be serious. And then.
Well, I'll reinvestigate. I can't do it while we're on here, but
I'm pretty sure it's Leslie Nielsen that says I am serious and don't call me Shirley.
Let me see if I can find it. Where I'm going to have to look about this because it came up because I wanted to get it right and make sure.
Well, you fuck that up then, didn't you?
Well, might not have.
I'm sure that it's Ted Striker that says, "Well, surely you can't be serious," and Leslie Nielsen says, "I am serious and don't call me Shirley."
The first thing that comes up on Google is who said surely you can't be serious? And it says Rumac, Leslie Nielsen in brackets. Surely you can't be serious. And Rumac replies, I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. Right, but it doesn't say
anyway,
who says it.
Anyway, that's the quote. It's funny as fuck. Was.
Yeah, there we go. Ted Stryker. Surely you can't be serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
he
what
says
I
it.
misread.
There we go.
Never mind.
There
Neil.
we go.
It's fine. It's fine, Neil. Don't you start getting in a mood. You don't put that bottom lip
It's not
away.
said anything, Pam. Fucking hell.
Your screen's gone really dark as well, Neil. Is that just
It
like,
has,
is that
yeah.
your mood now?
Darkness in his heart.
No, I don't know what's going on.
This-
Maybe. I'll be talking to you and somebody will walk out that door. That'll creep the fuck out of you, won't it?
yeah,
That's
well,
creepy.
not
I
Ted
don't know why
Stryker.
it's suddenly gone dark.
Yeah, I
What
don't
was
know.
it called? Halloween.
It's gone dark, really dark all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't turned any lights off. Hey,
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right then.
Let's move this.
Okay.
a bit. Is that better?
That's a bit better.
There you go. Yeah, I think
go.
it's just the
That's
screen
good.
positioning.
That's good. So okay, so now we've got that. So go on then, Neil. Why is that in your top 10?
Because
Was
it's
it number
fucking
3?
funny.
It is funny. It is funny. I have
All
seen
right.
Airplane. That is one that I have seen.
Oh,
Hey.
thank
There we go.
God for that. Well
There we
done.
go.
Alice.
There's loads of quotable lines in that movie.
There's
Pretty
too
much
many.
every line is nearly a quotable line. I mean, we could just sit here all day and just play the quote game from it, but it's a genius comedy. I think it was all of our
That should be a top 10. We should do top 10 airplane quotes. See what we get on that one.
probably. But wasn't that Airplane the one that we all came number 1 in?
That was parody
Yeah.
movies. Yeah.
Parody movies.
All
was
3 were
all
number 1s.
3 of
Yeah.
us.
Wow.
First
Yeah,
time ever.
Yeah.
First time ever.
And it's
Wow.
funny as. It's as funny as.
It
It's
is.
very funny.
It is funny, and it's still funny.
Yes.
Like it doesn't
Yeah,
feel.
it's-
It doesn't feel old. Like the jokes don't feel old or tired, even
No.
though they've been parodied a lot themselves, obviously, in other
Mm.
things and like film and TV and stuff. But it is still funny. It's just I suppose if it's well written, then it doesn't matter how long ago it was written, does it?
I completely agree.
It doesn't. And I think Airplane 2 gets a bad rap as well. Because they've been showing that a lot on the on Sky, and I watched.
Yeah,
it
there's some
again.
good
It was
bits in
really
that.
funny
Yeah.
in it, and I think it gets unjustly criticised.
Yeah,
because,
I agree.
I think it's bloody funny.
Airplane 2
Yeah.
going.
If
on
you've got
the
Sky,
list.
they keep showing it on one
Yeah.
of the top Sky channels.
It's
at the moment.
disowned by the people that made Airplane the original.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
a
it's 'cause
shame.
They
Yeah,
didn't
'cause
make it.
They didn't make
Oh.
it, but,
Oh,
but
right,
it's,
okay.
it's obviously they didn't make it and then disown it.
Right.
No, they didn't.
Okay,
They didn't
because
like
that
it
would have been
because-
sad.
Yeah, but I think it has the same humor. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as
Laugh out loud. Funny,
laugh
but
out
it has
loud
moments.
funny in as abundance as the first one is, because I think that is like joke to laugh ratio is fantastic. I think probably the best ever in that movie. But Airplane 2 has definitely got some good moments. William Shatner absolutely hamming it up in it is
Yeah.
fantastic. Really, really good.
But very funny.
Okay, right. A top 10 movie list wouldn't be right for me if it didn't have some Star Wars in it. So I had to have one, and there could have been so many. May the Force be with you. I Am Your Father, all that. But I had to have the one that I've actually got as a tattoo. It's the I Love You, I Know, between
yeah.
Han and Leia. And this one for me is specifically what you were saying about earlier, Alice. Everything you need to know about their relationship and about what's happening at that moment is done by 2 lines, 5 words. Anyone else could have written that and it would have been wordy and overblown and full of emotion that probably wasn't right for the scene, but it is perfect. It's Leia's telling him that she loves him, and Han Solo being Han Solo and not saying I love you back, but going I know, and it's perfect. And that wasn't written in the script. I don't think the I know bit.
No, that was improvised,
Originally he
wasn't
was supposed to say I love you back, and he just said I know.
Much better.
Absolutely perfect.
Much better.
Mm.
Yeah.
And like I say, so much so I've got it on my arm, and my wife's got the same on her arm as well. So
Oh, did you get them at the same time?
yeah, she took me out for my birthday one day, and we was having a birthday day of fun, which I didn't know what was going on. So the first port of call was a tattoo parlor in the town we live, and we both got I Love You, I Know tattooed. And then she took me to see Babe on the stage. And man, was that a head fuck
On the stage?
on the
Oh,
stage.
wow.
There were kids
Interesting.
there, right? There were kids there, and there's I don't know if it's in the movie because I've never seen the movie, but all of a sudden in the film, like fucking shotgun comes out to finish the first half. The shotgun comes out, is pointed at one of the sheep. The scene goes blank. And like everything goes black, and then there's a massive shot, and that's the end of the first half. I thought, fucking hell, what's going on?
Dark that man.
Jesus Christ, there's kids crying, there's kids wetting themselves. It was like crazy.
Was there real animals on the stage?
No, it was actors with like furry coats on, and they were being the sheep, and then there was one with a little like a piggy wiggly tail that was Babe, and no, I think Babe was a puppet, I think, but it was very clever. But
that's got an iconic quote, isn't it? That'll do, pig.
That'll
do, pig. Absolutely, yeah.
Indeed.
That's even quoted in other films.
It is.
Yeah, that's.
I find myself saying that
deep lore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they did it in Shrek, didn't they? That'll do, donkey.
That'll do, donkey. Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so number 2, please, Alice.
Okay, number 2. I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened. So do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. So that's Frodo and Gandalf in the Fellowship of the Ring. But very specifically, it's when Frodo is remembering that conversation that he had with Gandalf. So they have it initially where they have the conversation in real time. And then it's as Frodo is about to leave the Fellowship, he's about to get in the boat and go and destroy the ring on his own because he realizes, well, I've got to do this on my own because Boromir tried to kill me and Aragorn might try to kill me and everyone's going to die if I don't do this on my own, sort of thing. And he's just stood there looking out onto the water, and you hear their voices basically having the conversation in his mind. It just gets me every time, man. Like you with your Field of Dreams. I'm just like, you just feel the gravity of what Frodo's having to do and how insane it is that he's even contemplating trying to do it. And it's just a beautiful moment, but very specifically that time where he's remembering it and not the first time that it's said. So yeah, bit of fucking dancing around that one. I'm sure nobody really quotes this. I don't know if you could call it a quote, but I just love it so much.
No, that's great. That is a good one. Yeah. I've not seen the extended versions, I have to admit.
They're worth it.
Yeah. They're not worth it.
Yeah.
They're well worth it.
Oh, they're worth it.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. They really do. It adds more, like just little extra bits of information, little bit more of character development. And because I love the films anyway, like I'm happy for it to be 4 hours long. Like they could be longer than that, like, and I would be fine with it, sort of thing. But yeah.
Okay. Nice. Go on then, Neil. You're number 2.
Well, here's another fine mess you've got me into. What move is that from there?
I mean, it could be any Laurel and Hardy movie, couldn't it?
It's
you go for Sons of the Desert. Yeah.
It's just part and parcel of growing up for me, and hearing that voice. It's, when I thought about great movie quotes, I automatically thought of the Laurel and Hardy one. I just think it's great. I mean, are you a fan of Laurel and Hardy, Alice?
I don't know. I haven't seen any. I can't judge. Sorry. Are they dead good? Am I missing out?
It depends what kind of comedy you like, really.
Yeah.
I was brought up on Laurel and Hardy.
I think it was a staple of our generation because it was on, you come to the Christmas holidays, school holidays, they were on every morning.
Yeah.
We didn't have the 6 million channels you choose from. Now we have 3 at that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it was just part and parcel of it. But the thing is, I showed my kids when they were younger, and my son is still mad on them now. So I think they're timeless to me.
It does translate still to the
very
modern
much
audiences.
So, I know people that can't bear them and can't bear watching it, but I don't get it myself. I think
we would just start with Laurel and Hardy if I was going to watch one to start with.
I would start, or if you start with one of the 20-minute ones.
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout.
Brats.
Okay.
Yeah,
Brats. Where they play their own sons as well. So that's hilarious. And Helpmates is another good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think you can get them both on. I think they're both on YouTube.
Great. Okay, cool.
Blotto is another good.
Blotto is
another
funny
good one.
as with it. Yeah, that's got the. If you ever, they did that as a well when I was on social media a while back. They used to do that as a meme of him laughing like that.
Yeah.
Blotto. It's you might recognize that.
But there are so many good ones. Like the full length movies. Way Out West is one of the most famous ones because it's the Trail of the Lonesome Pine. Which was a song that went to I think number 1, or it went very high up, didn't it? I think it got very, very high up, but yeah,
it's got a lot of the. When we talk about Laurel and Hardy, you'll think about a lot of things, and Way Out West has a lot of them in. It was there.
A lot of the famous sort of scenes and stuff. You mean,
bits,
yeah.
I
would recommend. It depends. Like I say, if you like slapstick comedy, it's
try
great.
Bratz. I think Bratz is probably the most easy, accessible straight
You
away.
can lead a horse to water, but a pencil must be lead.
Lead.
That's another good one.
And then what follows from that is probably one of the funniest things ever committed to celluloid.
Yes.
That's what
with the stairs is what you're talking about, Neil. Yeah.
I actually, me and my lad, still to this day when we watch it, rewind it just to watch it again.
Same.
And I keep doing it because it makes me laugh so much.
But I don't know, because Alice obviously is a different generation to us. I don't know whether it translates. I really don't. I think if you're brought up like young, I think if you're looking at it from an older eye, I don't know whether it translates. I really don't. But I think if you're brought up with it as little, I think it works perfectly because it is childish, slapstick, poking people in the eye, that kind of thing. It's that kind of, it's comedy through pain is a lot of it, especially with what happens to Oliver Hardy. He gets run through the mills like somewhat chronic, he's always being smacked at and things falling on him, but
always seem to be getting wet as well.
Yeah, if you find that kind of thing funny, you'll find it funny, but if you don't, but I would thoroughly recommend.
I'd be really intrigued to hear what you think about that.
Absolutely.
Send us a message over.
Okay, I will. I'll give it a go. I'll start with Bratz.
With Bratz. Yeah. 2 minutes in, she go, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah, what have these lads done to me?"
Well, I mean, it's got to be 1930s, hasn't it?
Oh, easy, 20s, 30s, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
it's
no,
1930s.
I do love that though, because it's like looking at a piece of history, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I do like that.
And it's where like comedy
was born.
It's where those kind of things have been brought on, and that's where it all came from. It's Charlie Chaplin, the Marx Brothers, Laurel and Hardy, Harold Lloyd, all of those kind of guys. Abbott and Costello,
I'm not such a fan of Abbott and Costello.
I'm not. I think it's one of the two, aren't you? Either Laurel and Hardy or.
But they were a bit later, weren't they? Than Laurel
they were
and
just
Hardy.
a little bit there. They were in the talkies,
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 2 is a little bit wordy. So bear with me. Alice has actually done one from this movie already, but. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, general of the Felix legions, and loyal servant to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. I thank you. Oscars now, please. Thank you. That's from Gladiator.
I thought it was the artist.
It's not the artist. No, that was from Gladiator. That was I can't remember. I think it was one of the first times I looked at YouTube or something, and I saw that on video, that clip, and I thought, that is just fucking amazing. I didn't know what the movie was. I think that was the very first clip I ever saw of Gladiator. And I thought, I want to see that, because just the look in Russell Crowe's face, just perfectly acted, wonderfully done, and it summed up that whole. I love that movie. Gladiator is one of my favorite movies. Not really much more I can say about it, to be honest. I think it's just a great bit of writing, perfectly done, and a real shit of a bad guy in there as well. Joaquin Phoenix is Commodus is just an ass. And Richard Harris was fantastic in it as well.
Oliver Reed's last
Reed as well. Yeah, because they filmed a lot of that without a script, didn't they? Because they had no idea what they were going to do story-wise. And then he obviously died halfway through it, so they had to rejig it all again.
And it still holds up all right. I watched it not so long ago, and I thought, wow, blimey, that holds up quite well.
Yeah, but that's my number 2. Okay, so before we do our number 1s, I always laugh at that bit. Alice, would you like to give us a countdown between 10 to 2? You don't have to do the whole thing, just,
Okay. Yeah, summarize.
Indeed,
Okay.
that's the word I was looking for.
Number 10 is the take the car moment, go to the Winchester from Shaun of the Dead. Number 9, are you not entertained? Number 8, hi, I'm looking for Ray Finkel and a clean pair of shorts from Ace Ventura. Number 7, Marilyn Monroe, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Number 6, Clifford, Richard E. Grant from Spice World, walking on stage to hang himself. Brilliant. Number 5, Do You Bleed from the Justice League. Number 4 is when Éomer surrounds Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli in the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. Number 3, Good Morning, Dr. Silberman. How's the knee from Terminator 2? Number 2 is Frodo having a very sad memory of Gandalf after he's died, and when he needs to go to Mordor to throw the ring in the fire. It's all very sad and emotional from the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yay! That'll do.
There we go.
You didn't have to do it that fast. We've got plenty of tape.
Oh, I don't know why I keep doing. I always do stuff like that really, really fast. I don't know why.
Don't worry. It's
don't know
fine.
why. There we go.
Okay, then, Neil, you're 10-2, please.
Okay, at 10 we had Bond, James Bond, Dot to Know. Number 9, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, Die Hard. Number 8, Gentlemen, You Can't Fight in Here. It's The War Room, Dr. Strangelove. Number 7, you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk, from Dirty Harry. Where are we at now? Number 6 is You Gonna Bark All Day, Little Doggy, or You Gonna Bite, from Reservoir Dogs. Number 5, You're Going to Need a Bigger Boat, from Jaws. Number 4, I don't know, I'm making this up as I go along, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 4, where are we at? Number 3, Striker. Surely you can't be serious.
That's funny, that.
Number 2, well, here's another fine mess you've got me into, Sons of the Desert. And number 1, you'll have to wait and see.
Yes, goodness me, Neil. My number 10 was 106 Miles to Chicago from the Blues Brothers. Number 9, The War Room, Doctor Strange Love. Number 8, Avengers Assemble from Avengers Endgame. Number 7, Dad, want to have a catch? Field of Dreams.
Oh, God.
6, it's not, it's the honey mileage thing, Raiders of the Lost Ark. 5, I'll Go Shave My Tongue, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Number 4, Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride. 3, The Empire Strikes Back, I Love You, I Know. And 2, Maximus Decimus Meridius, I Will Have My Vengeance, from Gladiator. So, Alice, what is your number 1 movie quote of all time?
Gosh, okay, pressure. Okay, here we go. Number 1. I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yes.
Just cracks me up every time.
Every
it's just
time.
that film, everything about it, Tommy, like it's just what a cultural moment that was. And it was just a new lesson in how something can be entertaining in a very different way to what you would expect from a film. And yeah, I just love it. It cracks me up every time.
Just in case anybody doesn't know, that's The Room.
Yeah, that's from The Room.
Tommy Wiseau's cult classic.
Yes,
have you seen
Rick
it yet,
Gardy
Neil?
does.
No, not all the way through.
Have you
only the
still not
clips.
seen it?
I really just can't bring myself to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, you've gotta get into a sort of mindset, and I think just be ready to enjoy it in a way that you've never enjoyed any other film before. Like it's just it's fascinating more than sort of entertaining. And I think, just iconic for very different reasons.
I watched the film about that James Franco.
Disaster Artist. Yeah.
I watched that. That was okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good, that.
Yeah, but no, Pav's been banging on probably about 10 years for me to watch this.
It is like watching a car crash. It's the thing, it's so bad that you can't take your eyes off of it.
Yeah.
Because there's part of you thinking, they're taking the piss. They're doing it on purpose this bad. Green screen, or all of a sudden chucking a football around and for no reason whatsoever. And the creepiness of some of it, it doesn't make sense. But then when you realize that actually, this guy set out to make a proper movie and this is what he came up with, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But who knew, that it then land in this sort of infamy that he's got.
Yeah. So, well, it is a cult classic now, isn't it? Like there's midnight screenings and stuff, and people, like with Rocky Horror Picture Show, where you go and you sing along and you dress up, and it's like this whole event. Well, it's a similar thing. with the room. Like you go and you quote along and stuff. And yeah, just a real interesting moment in cinematic history, I think.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Yeah, another good one. Another good one. That was nearly made it on there. Nearly made it on there.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so bad. It's so good. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's a great one. Well done. Go on then, Neil. You're number one.
So, like I said, I wrote this list without looking at anything online, and the first movie quote that came to me, which I think is probably the most famous movie quote, is "May the Force be with you." Star Wars. I know it's a bit cliche for us to say this, but for it to be the first thing that I thought of must mean that it means the most to me. Does that make sense? So we don't need to go through the backstory. We know how great the movies are. We know how wonderful they are, and the fact that that line has its own day now. May the 4th be with you. So it is in general culture now for sure everywhere. I mean, even if you haven't seen the movie, I think you know that line.
What was that called? Sorry, Star Wars. No, I'm only joking.
Star Wars.
I have seen it. I've seen that one.
Have you seen all of them though, Alice?
The only one I haven't seen is the second one of the prequel trilogy. Is that Attack of the Clones? Yeah, that's the only one I haven't seen, but I've seen all the others.
Okay. Have you seen like the Star Wars, like Han Solo Star Wars movie and Rogue One and stuff?
I've seen Rogue One. Thought Rogue One was all right. Didn't see Solo. People I think they've done like a 180 with Solo. I remember it coming out and people were like, oh, this is pretty shit. And then now, sort of in hindsight, people are like, oh, actually, that was pretty good. But I don't know if that's just because some of the stuff that maybe came after that was so bad that like you go back and it's like, oh, Solo is actually pretty good compared to all that.
In lockdown, I watched Solo again, and I have to say I enjoyed it a lot more the second time around than I did the first.
Interesting.
It's a movie.
I mean, it's not a great movie.
No, it's a movie that people say that it didn't need to be made. You didn't need to know the back story of Han Solo.
But it's a good romp.
It is a good romp. I'd love to have known what the original movie would have been like. Because Lord and Miller, wasn't it?
It was originally. I mean, we saw them announced at
we did
celebrations that they were directing it.
Yeah.
But apparently, again, they said it was too comedy centrified.
They actually said. They mentioned Ace Ventura when they said that. They said that was going to be like the blueprint for it. And I thought, I'm never going to have to walk out of a Star Wars movie, surely.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird way to take it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they were saying, I think it was going to be, it was going to be very, oh, Christ, what's the word when you make it up? Improv. It was going to be very improv based. And I think that's when they said that Alden Ehrenreich would have to go and have acting lessons because he hadn't done improv before. And then all of a sudden it was coming up saying, oh, Alden Ehrenreich isn't good because he needs acting lessons. Well, that wasn't what it was for. It was apparently to get used to doing stuff off the cuff as opposed to just reading the lines and doing the lines. But yeah,
I think, because I imagine that when you're watching that, all you're thinking about is Harrison Ford. And you're just like, oh, I wish I was just watching Harrison Ford do it. And because he is so brilliant at that character. Like it almost feels like, what? How dare you? How dare you try and sort of relive that magic? But
then if you go on YouTube, you can see the deep fake version of it with Harrison Ford's face on it, and that's really good.
Interesting. Okay,
it's really good. They've done the deep fake of his face on Alden Ehrenreich's face in some of the scenes, and it looks brilliant. It looks really,
does
really
it? Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay, so that's your right. Now my number one is very wordy, so please bear with me on this one. Okay. Well, I believe in the soul, the cock, the pussy, the small of a woman's back, the hanging curveball, high fiber, good scotch, that the novels of Susan Sontag are self-indulgent, overrated crap. I believe Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I believe there ought to be a constitutional amendment outlawing AstroTurf and the designated hitter. I believe in the sweet spot, softcore pornography, opening your presents Christmas morning rather than Christmas Eve, and I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last 3 days. That's my number one movie quote.
Schindler's List.
No, it's not Schindler's List.
I know what it was. It was Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, yes.
Kevin
Costner as Crash Davis, the baseball veteran. Have you never seen this one, Alice?
No, not even heard of that. What did you say? Bull Durham.
Bull Durham.
Bull.
Yeah, it's the name. So Durham Bulls is the name of the baseball team that Kevin Costner gets drafted into. He's a veteran playing for the AAA league, which I think is the league next to the big show, as they call it. And he's basically there. He's the catcher, and he's there to be the nanny for the new hotshot pitcher, Tim Robbins. Yeah. And Susan Sarandon is I don't know, how can you politely say it? She's the woman that will look after whoever's going to be the star for the season and basically be his shag for the season, if you like.
So he can concentrate.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
Makes
sense. And that they have a bit of a double date where Susan Sarandon is like going to choose whether she's going to choose Crash Davis, which is the veteran, or Ebby Calvin Lelouch, which is the name of Tim Robbins. And basically Kevin Costner says, look, I don't try out. I'm too old for this. And she goes, oh, what do you believe? And then he goes through all the things that he believes. And as he says the last bit, soft, deep, wet kisses that last 3 days, he turns and says goodnight and turns away. And she just goes, oh my, and then sort of chases him because she sort of knows. Well, she just goes, oh my. Well, that's what she does. She goes, oh my. And then as he walks out, he sort of gives himself a little smile. But he's so cool in that movie. He really is, and he's
very well acted.
Very well acted.
Very well.
Brilliantly done. And then it's all about whatever a sportsman needs to have some kind of good luck. That's what it's all about. And all of a sudden, Tim Robbins' character goes on this amazing winning streak, but by not having sex. So, and Kevin Costner saying, well, that's it. That's the reason. If it means you've got to wear women's underwear to keep you from winning, you're always going to win, then you wear women's underwear. You do whatever you need to do to keep that stretch going. And it's a really great film. Funny. And like I say, Kevin Costner's never been as cool, I think, in a movie than that. And it's a great movie. Put it on your list, Alice. I would definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Just shut the iPad down.
Yeah.
All right. Bull Durham. Oh, I got a lot of homework to do. This has been good. This has been an
Raiders
education.
Lost Ark first. Well, maybe
Raiders
Bratz,
Lost Ark,
because that's only 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's definitely first on my list. Bit of Laurel and Hardy, and then I'll make my way through the others.
And then Field of Dreams, obviously, and then
Field of Dreams. I'm gonna pick that for the podcast. I've decided I'll put that as one of my classic choices for sure.
Excellent. Let's go through a few of these honorable mentions. Stu Grant said, good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun, Army of Darkness. And he also said there's a passage that I got memorized, seems appropriate for this situation. Ezekiel 25:17. I'm not going to go through it all because I've already done
Pulp Fiction.
Path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the thank you very much, Stu. At Modern Escapism said, I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. As they live. Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown from Chinatown. What is it you want, Mary? What is it you want, Mary? Oh. What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hello, movie house. Hello, old building and loan.
It's a wonderful life, Alice. Yes. You're really confused there.
No, I've seen that one. I'm with you there.
You knew as soon as I did the impersonation, you knew what it was, didn't you, Alison? Yeah. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
That's Night of the Living Dead, isn't it?
It's Dawn of the Dead.
Is it Dawn of the Dead?
Yes. At FTLOL podcast is Do or Do Not. There is no try.
What's that from?
I forget.
I don't know.
That was apparently Stryker said that. Kit Torpin said there are so many in Casablanca, but while it's not one of the big ones, this one sets a perfect picture of Rick's memory, and it is almost chilling. It's not an easy day to forget. I remember every detail. The Germans wore grey, you wore blue. Dun, dun, dun. Larry Sala said there are so many, but one of my all-time favorites is from The Devil Wears Prada. I'm just one stomach flew away from my goal weight. Classic line from Emily Blunt.
Very good.
Jeff Flores is Back Off Man, I'm a Scientist, which is Ghostbusters. At Chatty Geek HD, hey you guys. And I know Kung Fu, and also Considering There Is No Spoon. Or maybe It's a Trap, another Star Wars one. At Joshy McSquashy. I don't know who that is.
Some weirdo follows
Dance
me
with
on
the
Twitter.
Devil in the Pale Moonlight from Batman 89.
I thought the better one out of Batman 89 was Never Rub Another Man's Rhubarb.
That's one, yeah. And another couple of quotes he's got, but from looks like the production crew, is we probably shouldn't make another one of these. It wouldn't be very good, and that's a fact. Is all involved in the production of Grease 1 was what he said. And a cruise ship is just as good for action scenes as a city centre bus that can't slow down, from the producers of Speed 2.
Sounds legit. Yeah, that sounds legit.
That sounds legit. At this one, Samantha is Talk to Me Goose, and I feel the need for speed. Top Gun. You're going to need a bigger boat, from Jaws. That's not a knife. Crocodile Dundee. Yo, Adrian. Rocky. And Are You Not Entertained, from Gladiator. So thank you very much, everybody, for
thank you very
all
much.
your honourable mentions. That's it, Alice. We've done it again.
We
We
have.
did it.
managed
There
to
we
do
go. Oh,
managed to
always
do
so
it.
much fun. The hardest thing is just trying to narrow it down to 10.
Well,
when are you
that's
going to do
right.
the top 20 of
Well,
anything?
we'd have to
When
change
we-
all of our merch and everything. If we...
Yeah, and when we get more hours in the day to record it.
I know, yeah.
Indeed,
Can you imagine that?
Indeed.
Top
To
100.
be honest, Alice, though, that for the hardest part for us is having to say goodbye to you.
Oh, well, I'm never too far away, lads. Just a Zoom call away.
Indeed.
Oh,
Before we do
bless
actually say our official goodbyes, Neil, do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch and all that gubbins?
Of course I can. Striker. You can find us on all the social medias at Top 10 Pods. Give us a click, give us a like, give us a follow, whatever it is you do on these things. Email us at top10pods@hotmail.com. Come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/top10pods. All sorts of rewards you can get, including being a guest yourself. What good is that? Check out all of our links via the Linktree. You can find the link in the show notes below. And then please do come, subscribe, leave us a review, rating, wherever you get your podcasts from. Come join the fun.
Indeed. Alice, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's always so much fun and absolute pleasure. I was buzzing when you sent me the message. And then when we picked that topic as well, I was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be sick. So, yeah, thank you both so much. It was good. That was brilliant.
We will see you again. We will definitely see you again. Yes.
I await with bated breath.
Thank you, Neil.
Oh, thank you, Pav. Thank you very much, Alice. It's been awesome.
Yes, thank you once again, Alice. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening. And let's go start the count.
10, 9.